Hey guys, finally, a family lawyer is inside the studio. His name is Anton. As usual, I'm Andrei, your certified translator and a real estate concierge. Quick remark about the dress code. As you see, I'm still having my trendy shirt because on top of all my translation things, I also do a lot of moves in the field. And as a lawyer, Anton has to look like a very sweet and smart guy, and he has to be both in the courts, in all sorts of official establishments. So this dress code thing is very strict in case with he is Anton. Nice to meet you, and thank you for coming.
Nice to meet you, Andrei. Thank you for asking me to come.
What is your legal major?
Let me say this way. Actually, advocates or attorneys in the Republic of Belarus, they could specialize in different fields, different spheres. I'd like to notice that my specialization is family cases. Nevertheless, when I've started working on this kind of cases, I understood that when we're speaking about the family case, sometimes there are a lot of issues connected with like property division, division of some personal assets which were obtained during the marriage. And which means that you need to understand also how this kind of special legal institutes work in the Republic of Belarus. Business is another type of personal asset. It also should be divided in case of divorce, and that is why the lawyer should also know some specifics of this kind of questions. That is why sometimes I answering this question, which is my specialization, I tell that one of my favorite types of specialization is family cases, though sometimes every lawyer needs to handle with different spheres, not limited to this particular field like family case.
Yeah, true. A quick remark, by the way, it's very hard to find a specialist, a niche specialist in Belarus speaking good English, this kind of good English. So Anton makes a very good, cool package here, speaking some good English and being a lawyer. Please don't blame him for calling things that are not called this way in a legal dictionary in America or Britain. It's just like literally what he means. And if you are unclear about what he means, you can schedule a technical consultancy or just drop me a question like, Andrei, what the hell did you mean here? And I'll tell you that this property separation means bitching between man and wife and all pure human English language. Let's get started. So guys, first things first, there's man and wife by constitution, by the way, and that's a charming bit. Family is a union of man and wife, like old-fashioned terms, man and woman. Man and woman, that's very sweet in a certain way. So there is a marriage and there is marriage contract, which is a non-legal term. The legal term would be prenuptial agreement. So how is it signed in Belarus?
Yeah, that's actually one of the basic terms in the family cases and one of the basic documents which could be concluded between future spouses or couple which is already married, for example. Everybody needs to understand that this kind of document could be concluded only before the divorce is registered. So in case if you are in a divorce procedure, before the divorce is registered, this option is open for you. After the divorce is registered through the court or through the registration authorities, it means that you cannot conclude this kind of agreement.
But it only can be signed after the marriage.
Or before the marriage, because this document is, to get its legal force, it should be certified by the notary. So the notary also could certify the document between future husband and wife. So, and there will be a special statement in this kind of document mentioning that this prenuptial agreement is concluded by future spouses. So, and it comes into legal force after the marriage is registered. So in case if, for example, husband and wife decided not to get married, it means that this document will not work. So this is a very interesting topic, which is a little bit, which differs a little bit from other jurisdictions where, for example, such kind of documents could be concluded only in case if husband and wife has already registered their marriage.
So let's be standard. They got married and they get to this document. How is it done?
Usually it is done with the help of the notary or the lawyer, taking into consideration the time working with foreign clients. Sometimes it is rather difficult for them especially to create this kind of documents by their own. That is why they are usually asking for some assistance from a lawyer. If this document will be like more or less basic and conclude only such general stuff as, for example, the order of joint property division in case of divorce, sometimes even the notary without assistance of a lawyer or attorney could fix it or like advise how to fix it to the parties, and then certify it together with when both of the spouses will sign it in front of the notary.
And the certified translator on the side of the...
Yeah, that's absolutely right. In case if, and it is widely spread situation when, for example, when the husband is a foreigner and future wife is a Belarusian citizen, we have cases when a lot of personal stuff, personal assets is situated abroad, somewhere abroad Belarus, which means that we need to work on this project together with foreign lawyers, because sometimes it is we need to like establish the document which could be which will have legal force both in the Republic of Belarus and in a foreign state, for example, because again we have some specifics here in the Republic of Belarus which is connected with real estate property, and for example we had a case when couple concluded a prenuptial agreement abroad, registered it there, and put all necessary marks, certification, and etc. Then this couple bought some real estate here at Borovlyany district, which is near Minsk and very wonderful area to live. And okay, just my personal opinion. But
it may have its brilliant corners and not so brilliant corners, but generally, yeah, it's like very much above the middle range of the market.
Yeah, but when the things got worse, the couple understood that we cannot enforce this kind of prenuptial agreement concluded abroad, but which is connected with the real estate which is situated here in the Republic of Belarus. We cannot enforce it here in the Republic of Belarus. This is the problem, and actually this is not the specifics of only the Republic of Belarus. The same regulations we have in other jurisdictions. That is why sometimes we have a necessity to like establish a general document which could be applied and enforced in different jurisdictions. This is another option, one option, and the other option is to conclude, for example, prenuptial agreement here in the Republic of Belarus, another prenuptial agreement in a foreign state where, for example, future husband's assets are situated. So, in case of divorce, there will be, several legal documents which can protect the rights of both of spouses. Sorry.
So, as a non-legal guy, my understanding is make a local paper for local stuff and make a foreign paper for something that's sitting outside Belarus.
That's if a client has such an option, it will be wonderful. Again, because of different regulations in different jurisdictions.
Yeah, absolutely. What can it include, point by point? What could prenuptial thing list?
Actually, prenuptial agreement is rather universal document because conditions connected with the personal property of spouses could be included in this document. Conditions about division of property in case of divorce, as well as some conditions connected with alimony, financial support, place of residence of children in case of divorce, the order of communication between children and parents in case of divorce. So a lot of personal and financial stuff would be mentioned in this kind of document. So in case of divorce, everybody has like an algorithm which helps them to like use the instruments put in this document in their future, even after the divorce is registered.
Suppose a foreign husband dies. I guess statistically it's more like foreign husbands, local wives. That's a trend. If he dies and there's no prenuptial agreement, how does the thing work with property?
As a general rule, the prenuptial agreement is not the kind of document we need to use in inheritance cases.
Especially if it's not there.
Yeah, that's right. So usually this is a whole bunch of another stuff we need to decide, not including whether we have or we not have like a prenuptial agreement. So I believe if the followers are interested in this topic, we could meet another day and
talk about dead foreigners and their foreign children.
Yeah,
local ones.
That's right. Because it's again, I need to mention that's another topic for discussion.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
So assume a standard situation. The man dies. No, they divorce. The man doesn't die. Nobody dies. There's just a divorce. There's no prenuptial agreement. What happens to property?
In case if there is no any prenuptial agreement, the parties of possible future disputes need to understand that they need to use only legal norms of Belarusian law, so like a family code and some other legal acts of the Republic of Belarus. Which means if there is a conflict on property division, they could initiate the court case, and in most of cases the result will be the division of property, like in 50% share for every party of the dispute. So this is like a general rule, and in case if, for example, ex-wife believes that she needs to get more than 50% share,
normally they do.
Yeah, she needs to prove it, because there are some specific cases where you can ask for to increase your share in the property, but only on solid legal basis. For example,
your mother-in-law financed the renovation or something like that?
Usually when, for example, one of or children after the divorce will live with the ex-wife, which means that she needs more property for like children. But this is not the general rule. The general rule that the property is divided in 50% share. And if we're speaking about the personal assets, we need to, again, if the parties of a future disputes do not agree, for example, whether this violin was like personal asset or not, everything should be should become the subject of a court dispute.
Okay. Suppose there is another scenario. The couple split and the foreign papa is not in Belarus. She cuts his permanent residency or temporary or whatever. He is away. What happens to the children? How does he get to see the children, or do they get to stay with the father? Is it possible? Or do the children always stay with mama? What happens if she has too tight an apartment or lives with her mom? What if her salary is too skinny?
That's actually a very interesting question, because from the legal point of view, such kind of dispute could arise even when the divorce procedure is not finished yet. So technically, if parents live separately and there is a problem in communication between parents and children, even before the divorce procedure is finished, one of the parents could initiate the court trial, asking the court to establish like an order of communication, or even to determine the place of residence of children with him. I need to mention that these kind of cases are rather emotional because children are also more or less involved in these disputes, and the child protection authorities, sometimes the prosecutor office, sometimes and usually the psychologist who organize the psychological evaluation of children are also involved in these kind of cases.
And they're normally girls, by the way.
Sometimes yes, but I've in my practice there is no a gender limited possibility to meet even a guy in this kind of dispute.
Okay.
But yeah, usually they are girls or women. Nevertheless, it does not mean that this gender could be a problem in this kind of disputes, because anyway, according to the procedural law, the court needs to determine the interests of children. And if the interests of children will be to live together with their father, it means that the court can agree with that position, and these interests could be, understood by the psychologists after the psychological or sometimes even psychiatric evaluation, which could be organized either before the court, but usually during the court, after somebody, as usual, father initiated this kind of case. So if there is such kind of problem, the order of communication could be established by the courts after the trial. But again, the most important topic in this kind of cases is children's interests. So if, for example, there was one of the children or children, for example, there were situations when there were 3 children in the case some of them does not want to communicate with their parents, some wants to communicate with their parents. In every particular case, the court decides which is better for this child. So sometimes, for example, for one of children, there could be one order of communication. For another child, it could be another order of communication. It's very complicated kind of disputes, and I need to mention that every situation is very, very has its own specifics.
Would you say having kids and official marriage helps this divorce and split, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily, because again, the divorce case or any other family case is one subject of consideration. The case on determining the order of communication.
Children thing. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's another type of case. So usually the stuff which matters is, for example, whether or not one of the parents who asks to establish the order of communication have paid alimony or other financial support, because usually for the court this issue is important, though it is not, even if the parent hasn't paid any alimony during some period of time, it doesn't mean that he will be cut off communication, because it is not, again, this is not, these issues are not, they are connected but cannot...
Not super relevant.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Thank you.
So one last standard case for today, guys. Suppose the couple splits, as is natural for the couples. What happens to alimony? I understand that if the girl doesn't work for a while, or especially if she has children, or in which actually case can she claim alimony?
Sometimes when children stay with ex-husband, the same situation works for them, so they can ask for financial support from their ex-wives. That's a general rule.
Is it any typical in Belarus?
I had such kind of cases also, so why not? Because in this sphere, law works equal for everybody. So the main specifics of this type of case is that in EU jurisdictions, not in every country, not in each country, but I have, in my experience, communicating with lawyers abroad, They have, for example, like a special legal institute, which provides an opportunity for an ex-wife to collect some financial support from her ex-husband
living abroad.
Even abroad, and especially abroad, and this money goes directly to ex-wife's pocket.
I'm wondering how directly it can be in light of the sanctions. So let me get it straight. The couple splits, the guy leaves, and in case she has children, or not necessarily just children, she can claim alimony.
If she starts like a divorce case or some connected cases with the divorce abroad, not in the Republic of Belarus, as I remember, maybe followers from the UK could put this information in the comments below this video. As I remember, in the UK, ex-wife has an opportunity to initiate the case in London court, for example, and ask for financial support, which will go directly in her pocket, and in addition ask for financial support for common children.
Yeah, but if she is living in Belarus, that doesn't seem very likely.
Depending on how much money does she have, because
if Paul McCartney is watching, we would appreciate any input about that English divorce with a few $1 billion split two ways.
Yeah, in Belarus we could ask only for financial support for children. So it is like a general rule. So before children get 18 years old, if they stay, for example, with mother or maybe with the father, the parents with whom the children are, he or she could ask for this financial support before the children will become adults.
So the parent that splits and hosts one of the children, let's say one kid or one out of two, has the right by Belarusian legislation to claim 0.25 of the official income of the other spouse.
That's absolutely right.
Like by law they can claim this much, they could claim more, of course, and they normally claim more, but out of a sudden the other guy, or the guy actually turns out to have a really minimalistic salary, and that's what they can get officially. I guess one of the scenarios.
Yeah, this is like the most common scenario we have in such kind of cases. And again, you've mentioned very important issue, how to enforce the court decision where, for example, ex-wife collects some alimony or financial support for a child, and in case if her ex-husband lives abroad. Actually, the Republic of Belarus is a member of the Hague Convention.
No matter how funny it sounds now.
Yeah. So, using the instruments of this convention, even the court decision issued in the Republic of Belarus could be enforced on the territory of the country where this ex-husband lives.
But that's like flying a spaceship to the moon and coming back?
No, asking the Belarusian court to issue such kind of decision. After the decision is issued,
you have to legalize it, I guess.
You need to contact with the Ministry of Justice of the Republic of Belarus, and they usually do all the other stuff. I mean, technical stuff.
They do the apostille, not the consular guys.
They can I'm not sure. Do they need even the apostille here? Because you need to provide the copy of the court decision to the Ministry of Justice, our Ministry of Justice, and this so-called central authority in the Republic of Belarus, and after that, these documents are sent to the country where this guy lives, for example. And in case
to chase his balls.
In case if the country where he lives is the member of the convention, this court decision could be enforced on the territory of the country where he lives.
Yeah, we just have to assume it will have to be apostilled and then go to the other country to get the guy. Thank you, it's a great input and a great talk. I understand we covered just the very minimal bit of all the family intrigues that are stored in this gentleman's head, and that's really exciting to have him aboard and as a collaborator here. Please put your feedback, put your divorce stories, marriage stories underneath the video. I hope there will be more happy family things, of course. And if you have any further questions, like technical, consultancy-like questions, we will consider pulling together a video that Anton will basically where Anton will cover these subjects for you. Again, there'll be just basic coverage, just for your like general understanding of how things work, and I'll put Anton's contacts underneath so that you could email him or Viber him at your convenience, and he is to review your case.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you, and see you later in Minsk. Cheers.
Cheers.